All right, so what we're going to do, so we can see we got you 5 guys up here, because all 5 of you guys, we're going to see, hopefully very quickly, very easily, the same issue all 5 of us have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play each of these videos and pause it at a certain point, and each video will get paused at the same point in time. And then finally over here, okay, so if we look at these positions that we are seeing the bodies in right now, okay, and we call this position front foot strike. All that means is that our front foot has made contact with the ground for the very first time. Okay, obviously these 3 here are lefties and our 2 righties right here. If we look at the lefties, every one of us are landing on the basically big toe of our right leg. We can also see that none of our front foot is rotated to the target. When our front foot hits the ground and we go into front foot strike, this front foot needs to be landing a lot more straight to the target like these righties are over here. Okay? We cannot have this knee, we do not want this knee to be inside of our body. When this knee is angled inwards into our body, it does not allow the space for the back hip to come through, At front foot strike, we want to be seeing this belt buckle going to our target, not still facing first base. And we can see in order here, this one's closed off the most, this one has some rotation, this one has some rotation. We need it to be almost all the way through as much as we possibly can. Okay? Because if this knee is in the way, like I said, the back hip is not going to be able to come through. But on top of that, this knee is in the way for all rotation. We cannot rotate our upper body if this knee is in this position. This knee has to get out of the way first. It's got to get out of the way first. And then we can throw. So watch what this front knee is going to have to do in order for us to throw. It's got to get out of the way. So now where is energy going? It's going to third base. We're spinning in place. We're sending energy to third. Yet all of our energy should be going to the target. All of our energy should be going to the target after front foot strike. But because of where you got yourself into front foot strike, your energy cannot go forward. It has to go side to side. And now we are losing power. Same thing here is going to have to go side to side. And now we're losing power. Side to side. And now we're losing power. You see here, this is completely keeping us closed. We cannot rotate through when the foot is on this much of an angle. Okay, so we need to get this front leg to fully rotate into foot strike. This leg has to do something, and we have to make this leg do something on its own. This leg has to do its own movement without any other part of our body doing that rotation with it. We have to rotate so that this piping that's facing the target right now, when our foot hits the ground, is facing third. This piping on our leg that's facing home as we go down the target, it's got to be facing third when we land. It's not facing third right here. It doesn't get to third until now. And now is when we see we're in a good alignment. But it's too late because the upper body had to rotate in order to get that leg there. If we look at these two righties here now, okay, we can see at front foot strike, the knee is still inwards a bit. Yes, we can see the belt buckle, but what else can we see? Your full chest is already coming through. At front foot strike, our shoulders need to be closer to this position right here. They're closed off. Your shoulders have began to rotate already before your foot hits the ground. Why do you think your shoulders rotate? Early. Watch your glove here. You just swing it way out here. So where's your shoulder going to go next? It's going to go over there with it. And now here it goes. Boom. Now you're open. Look where this glove's at. It's going to the target. It's going to the target. It's going to the target. Now it's starting to finish. Right to the target. That's a fantastic glove path. Okay. So glove and shoulders. Okay. We need feet to rotate on their own. We need knees to rotate on their own. We need hips to rotate on their own. We cannot have the upper body rotating those things. Okay. So over here, like we were saying, good glove. But we can see this knee is going to still roll. Still going to roll. Still going to roll. And that's what really allows the backside to finally drive through. But we can see then how the shoulders rotate in order to get to that position. So if the shoulders were still here, I'll even give you here. When the lower body was here, we'd be fantastic. But we're going to see it takes a little bit of upper body rotation to get that knee into this position. We land here. So we land here, and then we stabilize there. We're landing and stabilizing. We need to land and stabilize right here. That way, everything's a little bit more powerful, and the shoulders will still want to be here, leading to more power through here. It's close. It's very close. It's all about timing. Just using our lower body starting now as opposed to starting now. Start rotating that back side now so the front side can start rotating now as opposed to everything starting to rotate now. And that foot just goes straight in the ground. And we'll see from the side view, just goes straight down instead of going out and down. And if it goes out and down, it's going to be in the air for a little longer. If it's in the air for a little longer, we can complete that rotation to get where we want to get by the time we get into front foot strike. So it's close. It's just timing. If we then take all of your guys' videos then from the side view and see what this looks like from that perspective. Okay. I don't want to go that small. We'll go about right there. Boom. Let's do it this way. It's be better. Sorry, it's taking a little bit of time, guys. Hopefully I remember this when I put this into my editing software and I can fast forward through all this and you won't have to deal with it. If you are seeing this, I'm sorry. Once I put it into the editing software, I had forgotten that I made this mistake. Here we go. Okay, this looks a lot better. We're going to be able to have the opportunity to see everyone still at the same time. So
There we go.
let's go ahead then and get everyone into their front foot strike position from the side view. Everyone's muted. Okay. Boom. There's your front foot strike. I should do this. I'll make everyone's big so they can see it. And then once it gets to front foot strike, we will pause it. So there's where our foot first makes contact with the ground. Take you back to your size. Boom. Boom. Front foot strike right there. Boom, right there. Oops, sorry. It's kind of getting lost in just watching your delivery there. All right, front foot strike. Boom, right there. And then right there. So if we then slide this back just a little bit and this one back a little bit, same with this, like that, with that. Okay, so we can now see everyone's whereabouts at front foot strike. So what we can see is over here, we can see belt buckles facing us completely. Over here, we can see the center seam of our pants facing us completely. We can see the belt buckle over here is slightly rotated. Belt buckle over here is kind of rotated. Belt buckle over here is pretty rotated. But again, we said to get to your pretty rotated, it's because those shoulders started to open. All right. So now we saw in the front view how that this front knee is inside of our body right now. It's inside and it's rolling out. So if we take a look at the big screen of what that looks like, if we watch this foot here, once it actually then gets into the ground, watch how as the shoulder rotates, the knee rolls out. See how that's happening there? So that's the energy that we're losing, energy that's going in a direction that's not needed, that then we can't use with our throw. So we're not throwing with all the energy we should, or all the energy that we could, or all the energy that we have. Okay, so put you back to where your front foot hits the ground for the first time. You can see what that looks like over here. How that knee is just rotating the entire time that we're trying to also rotate the shoulders. We need a lower half to be strong and stable in that front leg, not swiveling out and rotating while we're trying to throw and get out in front. It makes it a lot more difficult. So we get you back to your front foot strike. Okay. So what we have to figure out and answer then is, why are our front knees in the way? Why are our front knee, front foot, front hip not rotating as it should by the time our front foots hit the ground at front foot strike? Well, if we look at all of our back legs, all 5 of these back legs, can we say any one of us has rotated our back hip, back knee, and back foot? And the answer is no. Okay. Most of us have not even begun to do anything with our back foot. Haven't done anything with our back foot by the time that front foot hits the ground. Our back foot hasn't done anything by the time that front foot hits the ground. All right, so if our back foot isn't doing anything, all we're doing here is just letting our weight go to our toes so the heel comes off the ground, which is going to make it a whole lot more difficult to rotate downhill and out in front when it comes time to do that with the upper body, if the heel's coming off the ground like that. Okay, but you can see over here, knee is so far collapsed that it can't rotate. It can only extend. It can only extend. We can only extend our leg straight from a bend position to a straight leg position to try to rotate, which is not efficient and it's not going to work. Why does our body do that? Because your knee has just been going down and forward, down and forward, down and forward, down and forward this entire time. Okay. So once it comes time to start to rotate, this knee is in a position so far away from our foot that we cannot physically rotate our hip and our foot with our knee there. So then it becomes just a push or an extension of this back leg as opposed to a rotation, then the extension, which then leaves us into this very extremely awkward and bizarre position at front foot strike. Okay, so if we are rotating our back foot, back knee, back hip, we can then visually, hopefully, understand how that will help rotate our front hip, front knee, front foot. And because we can see that our back foot, back knee, back hip haven't done hardly any rotation at all, how if we start to actually rotate the backside, how that will help us get this front side fully rotated by our front foot strike timing. So if we pull up some big league videos here for you guys to see both from the front and from the side of what this is looking like. Let's use some guys that are young in the league and that hopefully you know who they are. How about a Dylan Cease? Let's see if I have a front view of Dylan Cease. I do. Okay, so let's watch these two guys here or this same guy and these two views here, and get them to be paused at front foot strike. First, I'll let the video play through completely one time so you can see what he looks like. Okay, Dylan, this is obviously, I think 2 years ago when he was still in the minor leagues, but Dylan Cease, probably the White Sox #1 pitcher all year this year. So let's pause it at front foot strike. Boom. His foot has hit the ground for the first time. Foot, knee, and that hip are in a straightish line, fully rotated through, Shoulders have not. As he goes to throw, watch how this knee is going to stabilize and lock out. And lock out. Okay. What's that look like from this side? And then we'll pause it at front foot strike. There. So if we just get this here, we'll make this half screen, and we'll get each of your guys' up so you can see what yours looks like next to his. Okay. Boom. Versus rotate everything. Rotate everything in the lower half. Okay. You can see his back foot gone through a full rotation through that big toe, rotating through that big toe. Not letting the heel come up early, but rotate through that big toe. Rotate your ankle around itself. Rotate through that big toe, over that big toe, while also rotating the knee inwards, rotating that back knee inwards, rotating that back knee inwards, which then drives the hip forward. At the end, it drives the hip forward. Once they're fully through, it drives the back hip forward. Versus your backside doing nothing until front foot strike. Or nothing, rather, until after front foot strike. There and here. Okay. Versus, and then front foot strike for you versus rotate everything right at the last second. Rotate the front foot, front knee, front hip. Rotate the back foot, back knee, back hip. Your back knee starts to. Your front knee starts to. But it's too late. Boom. We've already hit the ground. We need to create all that lower power with our lower half by its rotation before it hits the ground. Not after it hits the ground. After it hits the ground, energy is not going to be able to go in the right direction. Oops, what is going on here? Okay. I already saw this one. Boom. 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 Okay, so we can see versus boom, 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 boom. So you see that front side looks pretty darn close to this front side. But the difference is this is straight down the middle versus his out in front hips going forward. And it's just that backside. Your front side rotates great. Front side rotates good, great with that glove too. Good glove swivel, all that. But then it's just not out in front. We're not getting rotation. That's what kind of leads us then into this rotation of our upper body that's just in place. We're just in place making this rotation versus being able to rotate out in front, downhill, all that power going where we want it to go. And that's just because the backside hasn't driven the hips forward, which can't drive the chest and trunk forward yet. We're just stuck kind of throwing the baseball, comes out of our hand, like behind our front foot, maybe closer in line with like our knee. We need to get this baseball getting released as far out in front of us as we can. Close. It's just backside. You gotta learn how to drive that backside. Okay, and then look at this here. If we just watch your back knee, okay, it's gonna sway back, and then it's gonna start just instantly going forward. You just push that knee, let that knee go forward. And that's why your body just goes forward. And it opens everything up at front foot strike. Versus this back knee, staying back. That kneecap is facing like this way. It's trying to stay back. And now the kneecap is starting to rotate. Now it's facing us. Now it's starting to go in. Now it's starting to go in more. Now it's almost facing this back heel right there. Your kneecap is like facing us right now. Now it's just like angling down towards us. And now it's starting to rotate around. And now it's straightening out. You can see this is a rotation. See that rotation right there? Boom. 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 Rotation. Rotate that back knee. Rotate it. Okay. So then if we just quickly pull up all your fronts again. Oops. So that way we can see them next to Dylan Cease's front foot strike position. That position versus boom, this position. We can just see how much more this back side has come through, which propels this belt through a little bit more, driving that power through a little bit more. We can also see that the back foot at this point has fully turned over. We can still see your heel here and your toes here. And we know from the side that it hadn't rotated at all either. We get, oops, slide yours down to front foot strike. Boom, and like I said, front leg looks like it, but backside hasn't rotated the foot. Plus, shoulders open, gloves way flied open out here. Arms already starting to rotate through versus still staying back and closed off. Take this to front foot strike as well. Right there. Huge differences. Front leg's not rotated, front foot's closed off. Gloves open, shoulders already starting to come through and open, versus closed off, lower half fired. Same thing. Boom. Just getting caught. Versus getting everything rotated through. Everything rotates. Everything rotates before front foot strike. Everything rotates before front foot strike. Everything rotates before front foot strike. Okay. And finally, all right. So we have to learn how to use our lower half, fellas. We're going to be moving that, doing a lot of drills on how to rotate, rotate, rotate. We're going to have to be doing some flexibility and some mobility work. We're going to have to be doing some balance work. We got to train these legs how to work like a pitcher's legs.